Today, we are diving into the world of the lazy gardener's elite. We are counting down 15 incredible, long-lasting perennials that you plant exactly once, and they come back every single year, bigger, stronger, and more beautiful than the last. These aren't just plants, they are investments in your future, relaxation, and you're going to want to stay tuned until the very end because our number one pick is a plant so legendary for its longevity that it often outlives the people who plant it. It blooms when nothing else does, and it's basically the cheat code for a professional-looking landscape. If you're tired of wasting money at the big box nurseries every spring and you want a garden that works for you instead of the other way around, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's get into the countdown. Before we hit number 15, let's talk about the perennial math. Most people buy annuals, petunias, marigolds, zinnias, because they're cheap up front.
But when
You factor in the cost of replacing them every year for 10 years, plus the bags of soil and the time spent digging, that cheap plant ends up costing you hundreds. A perennial might cost $15 today, but over a decade it costs you pennies per bloom. It's the smartest financial move a homeowner can
make.
Let's start at the beginning of our list with a plant that is the ultimate entry point for anyone who thinks they have a black thumb. Number 15. Coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. If you want a plant that is basically the Iron Man of the garden, you're looking for the coneflower. Officially known as Echinacea purpurea, this plant is a North American native that has been transformed by breeders into a kaleidoscopic wonder. While the classic purple is a staple, you can now find them in fiery oranges, lime greens, and even sunset yellows. Hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, the coneflower is built to survive everything from a Canadian winter to a Texas heat wave. They usually start showing off in midsummer and will keep those daisy-like blooms pumping out until the first frost hits. But here's why the lazy gardener loves them. They are self-sustaining. Coneflowers have a secret power called self-seeding. When the flowers fade, they leave behind these spiky, architectural cones. If you resist the urge to tidy up and leave those cones alone, two amazing things happen. First, goldfinches and other songbirds will flock to your yard to eat the seeds all winter. Second, those seeds will drop into the soil, and next spring you'll find baby coneflowers popping up for free. You plant 3, and 3 years later you have a colony of 30. That is the kind of effort-to-reward ratio we're looking for. They thrive in full sun and aren't picky about soil, as long as it isn't sitting in a puddle. Once their roots are established after the first year, they are incredibly drought-tolerant. A common mistake? People overwater them. They like to dry out a bit. Here's an advanced tip. If you want your coneflowers to stay upright and bushy, instead of getting leggy, give them a light trim in late May. It delays the bloom by a week, but gives you a much sturdier plant. And did you know? The name Echinacea comes from the Greek word for hedgehog, referring to that prickly center cone. It's a tough plant with a cute name, and it's the perfect way to start your perennial journey. Number 14. Black-eyed Susan, Rudbeckia fulgida. Moving on to number 14, we have the gold standard of the late summer garden, the black-eyed Susan. Specifically, you want to look for the variety Rudbeckia fulgida goldstem. This plant is the heavy lifter. If you've ever driven past a corporate office or a high-end park and seen a massive, glowing sea of yellow flowers that looks perfectly manicured with zero weeds, you were likely looking at goldstem.
It's
hardy in zones 3 through 9 and blooms from July through October. Why is this perfect for the lazy gardener? Because it's mass-forming. It grows in tight, dense clumps that eventually knit together. This creates a living mulch that shades out weeds. Once a patch of black-eyed Susans is established, you won't have to weed that area ever again. The plant literally does the maintenance for you. One hidden benefit most people miss is that Rudbeckia is remarkably resistant to pests and diseases. While other plants are getting eaten by beetles or covered in mildew, the black-eyed Susan just keeps glowing. They need full sun and average soil. They'll even handle clay soil, which is a nightmare for most other flowers. The biggest mistake gardeners make with these is planting them too close to delicate, slow-growing plants. These guys are winners. They want to take over. Give them their own space where they can spread out and shine. A fun fact? These are the state flower of Maryland, and they've been a garden favorite since the 1700s. They've stood the test of time for a reason. Number 13. Yarrow, Achillea millefolium. At number 13, we have yarrow. This is the plant for the person who says, "Nothing grows in my yard." If you have rocky soil, sandy soil, or soil that is basically just dirt and neglect, yarrow will thank you for it. Achillea millefolium is hardy in zones 3 through 9. It produces flat-topped clusters of tiny flowers that look like little landing pads for butterflies.
And
Butterflies love them. They come in stunning shades of paprika red, bright lemon, yellow, and even soft pastels. The lazy factor here is twofold. First, yarrow is one of the most drought-tolerant plants on this list. Once it's in the ground, you can almost forget your watering can exist. Second, the foliage is fern-like and deeply aromatic. Deer and rabbits hate the smell. So, while your neighbors are frustrated that the local wildlife ate their hostas, your yarrow will be untouched. But here's where it gets really interesting. Yarrow is a dynamic accumulator. That's a fancy gardening term that means its deep roots pull nutrients from deep in the earth and bring them to the surface. It actually makes the soil around it better for other plants. The main mistake people make is planting yarrow in soil that is too good. If you give it too much fertilizer or rich compost, it gets floppy and falls over. It thrives on tough love. Plant it in the sun, leave it alone, and it will reward you with blooms from June through September. Number 12. Salvia, Salvia nemorosa. Next up at number 12 is salvia, specifically the perennial blue hill or May night varieties. If you want that classic English cottage look with spiky purple flowers, this is your plant. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, salvia provides a vertical element that most gardens lack. It's like architectural interest for your flower beds. It blooms in early summer, and here is the secret most people don't know. If you shear it back after the first round of flowers fades, it will bloom all over again in late summer. 2 for the price of 1, with about 5 minutes of work. It's a member of the mint family, which means it's rugged. Like yarrow, it's deer and rabbit resistant because of its scented leaves. It's also a magnet for hummingbirds. There is nothing quite like sitting on your porch and watching a hummingbird dart between the purple spikes of your salvia. The biggest mistake? Putting it in the shade. Salvia is a sun worshiper. Give it at least 6 to 8 hours of direct light, or it will start reaching for the sun and lose its tidy shape. An advanced tip: divide the plant every 3 years. In the spring, it keeps the plant vigorous and gives you more plants to put in the backyard or give to friends. Number 11. Catmint, Nepeta ex fossini. Don't let the name confuse you. This isn't the catnip that makes your cat go crazy, though they might take a casual interest in it. We're talking about Nepeta, specifically the Walker's Low variety. This is the ultimate spillover plant. If you have a retaining wall, a walkway, or a garden edge that looks a little harsh, plant catmint. It creates a soft, hazy mound of lavender blue flowers that look like a cloud sitting on the
ground.
It's hardy in zones 3 through 8. For the lazy gardener, catmint is a dream because it is virtually indestructible. You can step on it, forget to water it for 3 weeks in July, and it will still be there, blooming its head off. It has a very long bloom season, often starting in May and going straight through September. The hidden benefit here is its ability to act as a living mulch. Its thick foliage prevents weeds from germinating. Most professional designers use catmint as an underplanting for roses because it hides the ugly legs of the rose bushes and protects the soil. One thing to watch out for: it can get a bit wide. Give it about 2 to 3 feet of space to spread. If it gets too messy midsummer, just whack it back. with some hedge shears. It will grow back in 2 weeks looking brand new.
It's
The ultimate low-stakes plant.